from Casemiro to United, to a team that has similarly underperformed and similarly needs a lot of work, and that is West Ham United. Now, with West Ham, there's just something not quite clicking with them. That I just don't understand. They've taken, what is it? They've taken 8 points from a possible 36 and 5 clean sheets in their last 22 Premier League games. Now, what does this mean? I don't quite know, because obviously we all have kind of been conditioned to think West Ham, they're a sturdy team. They're always like, you always expect them to be mid-table-esque, challenging for Europe. David Moyes, well-drilled side, Jared Bowen, Antonio, Fornals, Lanzini, like Cresswell, all these type of guys, Souček, Rice, like these guys, right? But there's just something not clicking there. They've obviously brought in Skamaka, who hasn't really, I mean, it's still early days, so we can't really judge him, and Timo Kerr, from PSG. I don't know how to pronounce his name to an exact pronunciation, but of course he did give away the penalty for Brighton to score their first goal on the weekend. Timo Kerr. I don't know. You all know who I'm talking about. It's actually not Timo. It's Thilo. My mistake. As I just checked that. But yeah, he gave away the penalty for McAllister to score, and then obviously the second goal came not long after. It's weird for West Ham. It's quite bizarre, because I think I came into this season thinking they signed Skamaka. I thought that Skamaka signing pushed them over Newcastle. I thought they were going to be the best of the rest in terms of, if you take away the top 6, I thought they'd be 7th place, be the best of the rest in that department. But there's just something isn't clicking there. Has David Moyes' tactics become stale? Has he lost the dressing room? Is there something's not clicking there? That's for certain, right? So it will be interesting to see how it develops. I'm not sure if he can fix it. I doubt he'll be able to turn it around like that. We all know Moyes has had 2 spells at West Ham. Obviously, the first one wasn't great. The second one has turned out to be pretty good, but not like it's fading away a little bit. So it will be interesting to see whether or not they can get it. They can turn it around. What I'm looking at is kind of some difference. I feel like the West Ham have been the same since pretty much they've started being good. Like, they've just kind of maintained the same level. Whereas when you look at clubs, I'm not talking about Liverpool or City. When you look at clubs around them, they always change. Whether it's for the better or for the worse, they always change, because they know that if we change, maybe not year on year, and actually that's probably not the best way to describe it, but if we change, not in a drastic manner, we're not changing like everything, all the players, tactics, manager, everything, but there's little hints of changes here and there that just allow for unpredictability to be put back into those teams, and for some fire in the belly to be put back in those teams, because of the, maybe not instability, because I feel like instability can either create like a good atmosphere and a competitive atmosphere, or a down toolsing atmosphere, which is definitely not happening to West Ham. What's actually happening to West Ham is that everything is too predictable. Everything from team selection to tactics is too predictable, meaning the players just have a layer of comfortability about them. We all know it's Rice and Souček in the middle. We all know that. We all know it's Cresswell, Soufal on either fullback. We all know it's Antonio up front, Bowen on the wing. Like, we all know this is what's going to happen every single game. And that creates comfortability within the squad, which goes back to what they're motivated by. Like, that's where this whole crux of the team, of their issues are being stemmed from, in my opinion. It's West Ham, the players aren't motivated enough. The manager isn't motivated enough to get the best out of the team. Now, the reason I say this is because when they were up and coming, when they were good, or maybe not when they were good, but when they were building to the side that they were last year and the year before, they were motivated to prove everyone wrong. They were motivated to get into Europe. They were doing all this stuff, breaking into the top 4, etc. Now they got into Europe last year. They reached far in European competition. The kind of motivation has dipped in that sense, and it's also dipped in the sense of Declan Rice knows he's playing every game. Thomas Souček knows he's playing every game. Antonio knows he's playing every game. Sufal knows he's playing every game. Cresswell knows he's playing every game. So where's the motivation for these players to be better and to improve and to kind of stake their claim? I feel like that's what drove the likes of Jared Bowen and Thomas Souček to be very good footballers last year and the year before. Jared Bowen, no, he came from Hull, I think. Like, did he come from Hull? I don't know. I don't know where he came from, but he didn't come from. He's not this prodigy player. He had to prove people wrong. He had the motivation to prove people wrong, and he did that. Thomas Souček, same thing. Now that the fact that they've got their kind of comfortability about them, they just don't really care. That's what it looks like from the outside, anyway. So I don't know how you change that. Is it a manager change? Is it a direction change? Like in terms of like a whole club direction? Is it a tactics change? Something needs to change there. Whether it's a player change, maybe they need to get rid of some of these guys. I don't know, but they're becoming too predictable, and they're becoming too comfortable in themselves, and that doesn't create a competitive create a competitive atmosphere for these players to prove everyone wrong. So that's probably where the crux of their issues start, and also the lack of investment. I know they brought in Skamaka and they brought in the two centre halves, one of which is injured. So I know that's not great, and I know they probably do need some reinforcements in other areas of the pitch. I know they were after a defender who I can't, like, not a defender, a defensive midfielder who I think went to Everton. His name is escaping me, but if that's right, then you'll know who I'm talking about. But they brought in Maxwell Cornet, which is good. It's a good signing. It's not great. I think it's perfect depth. Skamaka, like I said, should become a very good player. He has all the physical and technical attributes to become a better player, or a very good player, I should say. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what changes, because something has to give. If West Ham come out next week and it's exactly the same, then there's going to be issues. There's going to be major red flags, because if they just keep doing the same thing over and over again, something is gonna happen bad. Like, no shit. Like, something bad's gonna happen. They're either gonna get smacked, or they're gonna go on a poor run of results, or someone's gonna get the sack, or whatever. So I think David Moyes needs to be proactive. I like, maybe not proactive, because we all know now that there's something wrong. So he needs to be reactive enough to get this under control, because it's going to slip away from them very quickly. If they keep doing the same thing over and over again, it's going to slip away from them, and they're going to lose touch to where they were last year, and they're going to lose that fabric of what they built, that like underdog kind of never say die attitude. That's going to fade away from them the more and more David Moyes doesn't want to change, and the more and more this poor run of form continues. Something needs to give, and it needs to give ASAP, because West Ham are struggling big time. So I don't know what the change is. That's something for David Moyes to figure out, and that's something for David Moyes to kind of decipher within himself and his coaching staff, because I feel like that's where the biggest impact can be felt in terms of change. Change tactics, change systems. Get Ben Johnson starting. Get Cornet starting. Get Skamaka starting. Just change things up. Maybe go to a back five. I know you can't, because you've got one fit centre back, but just do something. They need to do something. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't know where it goes, but tactically something needs to give. And if we don't see it in the next game, it will be very concerning. But moving on from a team that's underperforming to a team that's maybe not overperforming, but a team that were all